Hi, it's Mrs. Ferris from Wood Library with my friend Bernard, and we're ready for our last bedtime story program for 2023. So let's get started. And of course, our first book is about a bear. This is called Albert's Tree. It's written and illustrated by Jenni Desmond, and it's published by Candlewick Press. Doesn't he look comfy? There he is. Spring arrived and Albert woke from his long sleep. "Hooray!" he shouted. As the snow was quietly turning to water and trickling down from the mountains, Albert raced to his favorite place, his tree. "Hello, tree," shouted Albert. "I've missed you." His tree was perfect. Not too hard or too soft, too slippery or too prickly. It was his own special place, quiet and peaceful. But what was that noise? Albert's tree was crying. Wailed the tree. "What's going on?" said Albert. "You don't normally make a noise. You smell the same, and you feel the same, and you even taste just the same, even upside down." "What are you doing, Albert?" asked Rabbit. "Oh, Rabbit," said Albert, "my tree is crying. How can I cheer it up?" Wailed the tree. "Well, when I'm sad, I dig lots of holes to play in," said Rabbit. "Maybe that will stop your tree from crying." So Albert and Rabbit dug lots of holes. "We've dug you some holes to play in, tree," said Albert. But the tree just kept crying. It wailed. Along came Caribou. "What are you doing, Albert?" he said. "Oh, my tree is crying and I'm trying to cheer it up," said Albert. "Well, when I'm sad, I eat grass," said Caribou. So Albert and Caribou gathered lots of grass. "We've brought you some nice grass, tree," said Albert. "Please cheer up." But the tree just kept wailing. "Why is your tree crying, Albert?" asked Squirrel. "I don't know," said Albert with a sigh. The tree cried harder than ever. "Oh, please don't cry," shouted Albert. Wailed the tree. "Oh, this noise is too much," said the others. "Please stop, tree," roared Albert. "Stop crying." But at that, the tree just wailed even louder. And then Albert had one last idea. He took a deep breath and climbed quietly up to his favorite branch. And then he wrapped his thick, furry paws around the trunk and gave the tree a huge, kind bear hug. He whispered in his tiniest voice, "Why are you crying, tree?" And to Albert's surprise, the tree whispered, "Because I'm scared of the big, hairy monster." "What big, hairy monster?" said Albert. "Outside. Over there," said the tree. "Oh, don't worry. I'll get rid of it," said Albert bravely. Albert nervously looked high and low, outside and over there. There was no monster. "There's only me here," said Albert. "Phew," said the tree. "I can come out then." screamed a tiny feathered thing. You're the monster! Ah! Screamed Albert. You're the tree. I'm not a monster, said Albert. I'm Albert. Oh, I'm not a tree, said Owl. I'm an owl. Well, Albert and Owl laughed and laughed at their mistake, and they both felt much better. Albert was glad his tree was back to normal. He and Owl played in it all afternoon. And as he watched Owl swooping from his favorite branch, Albert knew that Owl loved the tree as much as he did, which he secretly decided made his tree twice as perfect as it had been before. You see the owl? They're both sleeping, aren't they? Yeah. Well, I bet that was a relief for Bear and for Owl to find out who was using that tree. Well, shall we have some bears? There were 5 big bears who were jumping on the bed. When one fell off, oh no, he bumped his head. So his mama called the doctor, and the doctor said, no more big bears jumping on the bed. So 4 big bears were jumping on the bed. One fell off and bumped his head. So his mama called the doctor, and the doctor said, no more big bears jumping on the bed. That means 3 big bears were jumping on the bed. One fell off and bumped his head. So his mama called the doctor, and the doctor said, no more big bears jumping on the bed. So 2 big bears were jumping on the bed. One fell off and bumped his head. So his mama called the doctor. The doctor said, no more big bears jumping on the bed. So that leaves 1 big bear who was jumping on the bed. When she fell off, oh no, she bumped her head. So her mama called the doctor, and the doctor said, no more big bears jumping on the bed. Well, that story was about Albert's tree. And this story is about something that was once part of a tree. This is called Stickman. Can you see him there? This is written by Julia Donaldson with illustrations by, I think, her favorite illustrator, Axel Scheffler, and it's published by Arthur A. Levine Books. Stickman lives in the family tree, and he lives with his stick lady love and their stick children 3. Now one day he wakes early and goes for a jog. Stickman, oh Stickman, beware of the dog. A stick, barks the dog. Oh, an excellent stick, the right kind of stick for my favorite trick. I'll fetch it and drop it and fetch it, and then I'll drop it and fetch it and drop it again. I'm not a stick. Why can't you see? I'm Stickman, I'm Stickman, I'm Stickman, that's me. And I want to go home to the family tree. Well, a notice says dogs must be kept on the lead. At last the game's over and Stickman is freed. He sets off for home with a hop and a twirl. Stickman, oh Stickman, ah, beware of the girl. A stick, cries the girl with a smile on her face. I bet you this stick will come first in the race. Has everyone got one? Get ready, throw. It's 1, 2, 3. Into the river they go. I'm not a stick. Oh, why can't they see? I'm Stickman. I'm Stickman. I'm Stickman, that's me. And I'm heading away from the family tree. Well, Stickman is floating. He floats on and on. Stickman, oh Stickman, beware of the swan. A twig, says the swan. A twig is the best. Oh, it's the right kind of twig to just weave in my nest. I'm not a twig. Oh, why can't they see? I'm Stickman, I'm Stickman, I'm Stickman. That's me. And I long to be back in the family tree. Well, the nest is deserted and Stickman is free. He drifts down the river and sails out to sea. He tosses and turns till the frolicking foam washes him up on the beach far from home. Here comes a dad with a spade in his hand. Oh, Stickman, beware of the sand. A mast, yells the dad, an excellent mast. Hooray, there's a flag for our castle at last. I'm not a mast for a silly old flag, or a sword for a knight, or a hook for a bag. I'm not a pen, I'm not a bow, I'm not a bat or a boomerang, no, I'm Stickman, oh Stickman, beware of the snow. Here comes a boy in a warm woolly scarf. Oh, an arm for my snowman, he says with a laugh. I'm not an arm. Can nobody see? I'm Stickman, I'm Stickman, I'm Stickman. That's me. Will I ever get back to the family tree? There he is. Well, Stickman is lonely. Stickman is lost. Stickman is frozen and covered in frost. Stickman is weary. His eyes start to close. He stretches and yawns and lies down for a doze. He can't hear the bells or the sweet singing choir, or the voice saying, "Here's a good stick for the fire." Stickman is lying asleep in the grate. Can anyone wake him before it's too late? He dreams of his kids and his stick lady love, then suddenly wakes up. What's that noise from above? It starts with a chuckle, then turns to a shout. Oh, ho, 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 ho. I'm stuck, get me out. A stuck man? A stuck man? Now, who could it be? Don't worry, cries Stickman. I'll soon set you free. So a scratch and a scrape and a flurry of soot, a wiggle, a jiggle, and then out pokes a foot. A shove and a nudge, a hop and a jump. Can you guess? And Santa falls into the room with a thump. Stickman, oh Stickman, you excellent friend. Thanks a million. Thanks without end. Then Stickman helps Santa deliver the toys to fast asleep girls and to fast asleep boys. Faster and faster they fly through the snow till Santa says, only one chimney to go. Stick lady's lonely. The children are sad. It won't feel like Christmas without their stick dad. They toss and they turn in the family bed. But what is that clattering sound overhead? Someone is tumbling into their house. Is it a bird or a bat or maybe a mouse? Or could it? Yes, could it? Could it possibly be? I'm Stickman, I'm Stickman, I'm Stickman, that's me. And I'm sticking right here in the family tree. Isn't it nice that they all got back together for Christmas? Because you should always be with friends or family for Christmas. Well, can you shake, shake, shake your sillies out? Shake, shake, shake your sillies out. Shake, shake, shake your sillies out and wiggle your waggles away. And can you clap, clap, clap your crazies out? Clap, clap, clap your crazies out. Clap, clap, clap your crazies out and wiggle your waggles away. Can you stretch, stretch, stretch your stretchies out? Stretch, stretch, stretch your stretchies out. Stretch, stretch, stretch your stretchies out and wiggle your waggles away. Time for you to stand up because it's time to jump, jump, jump your jiggles out. Jump, jump, jump your jiggles out. Jump, jump, jump your jiggles out and wiggle your waggles away. Can you yawn? Yawn your sleepies out, yawn. Yawn your sleepies out, yawn. Yawn your sleepies out and wiggle your waggles away. Can you shake, shake, shake your sillies out? Shake, shake, shake your sillies out. Shake, shake, shake your sillies out and wiggle your waggles away. Well, let's have a little shorter one this time. This is called One Fox, and it's a counting book thriller. This is written and illustrated by Kate Reed, and it's published by Peachtree. There's the fox. One famished fox. Do you know what famished means? Hungry. Very, very hungry. Two sly eyes. Three plump hens. Four padding paws. Five snug eggs. Six silent steps. 7 knocks on the door. 8 beady eyes. 9 flying feathers. 10 sharp teeth. $100 angry hens and 1 frightened fox. Whew. I think he wanted to eat them, just like you might want to eat a hot dog. I've got 5 little hot dogs that are cooking in the pan. The grease got hot and 1 went bam. So 4 little hot dogs are cooking in the pan. The grease got hot and 1 went bam. 3 little hot dogs are cooking in the pan. The grease got hot and 1 went bam. 2 little hot dogs are cooking in the pan. The grease got hot and 1 went bam. 1 little hot dog is cooking in the pan. The grease got hot and the 1 went bam. So no little hot dogs are cooking in the pan, but the grease got hot and the pan went bam. Well, our next story is about someone who's not very nice. This is called Eddie the Bully. It's written and illustrated by Henry Cole, and it's published by Little Bee Books. And that is Eddie. Eddie was a bully. A great big bully. He was mean any way he could be, any time he could be. "You're such a loser," he clucked at Rose when she came in last in the race. "That was an easy one," he said with a laugh when Tony had trouble with a math problem. "You were born in a roach motel," he sneered at Russell. Not nice at all. He hid Anthony's homework. He splattered paint on Melissa's art project. He tripped Emma as she was getting on the bus and off the bus. "Fat," he jeered. "Skinny," he jeered. "Average," he jeered. Nobody was safe. He was a good reader, but nobody wanted to sit anywhere near him during library time. And nobody tagged him during person-to-person monkey. That's their version of duck, duck, goose, I believe. "He's mean," Angela said to Marco. "Really mean," Carmen said to Sam. "Really, really mean," they all agreed. He was mean any time he could be and any way he could be. "I've had enough," Miss Henshaw said. She was ruffled. She was a teacher. She said, "Time out, Eddie." "I've had enough," Mr. Fowler said. He was peeved. He was a teacher. And he said, "Time out, Eddie." "I've had enough," Mrs. Cluckner said, exasperated. "Time out, Eddie." But during time out, Eddie thought of other mean things to do, like kicking over blocks, pulling a chair out from under a friend, and pushing too hard on a swing. Now one morning, Miss Henshaw made an announcement. "Class, we have a new student starting today," she said, "and I want all of you to make her feel welcome." She glanced at Eddie and said, "All of you." Then the classroom door opened. "Class, this is Carla," Miss Henshaw said. She pointed to an empty desk. "Carla, you may sit right there." All eyes were on Carla as she made her way to the seat right next to Eddie's. "Uh-oh, here it comes," Amy whispered. "Carla's going to get a real zinger," Tony whispered. "Eddie's going to let her have it," Ben whispered. And everyone held their breath. Carla squeezed herself into her desk. Eddie's eyes narrowed. He grinned an evil grin. He opened his mouth to speak. And Carla said, "Oh, I love your sweater." She was feasting her eyes on Eddie. Huh?" Eddie stuttered. "I can tell you have great fashion sense," Carla continued brightly. "Us fashionistas should stick together." Eddie blinked, glancing down at his sweater. Well, it was his favorite. "Hey, let's do lunch," exclaimed Carla. "I noticed on today's menu we're having mac and cheese. Oh, I love mac and cheese." I love mac and cheese too," said Eddie, feeling a little excited. "And then whoever gets to the cafeteria first saves the other a seat," Carla squealed. "Okay?" Okay, replied Eddie. "I bet everyone wants to be your friend," said Carla. Eddie gulped. His face felt hot. Why, you probably get picked first for teams all the time," she said. Eddie glanced around the room. The whole class was looking at him. Eddie felt miserable. Suddenly he wished he hadn't been so mean all the time. He wished he hadn't made fun of Tony in math class. He wished he hadn't spilled paint all over Melissa's picture. He wished he hadn't called everybody names. He wished he could start over. You know, it's really tough being the new kid, said Carla. Will you help me make friends? Eddie brightened up. I'd love to, he cackled. Carla beamed at him. Oh, I knew you'd be a good friend, she gushed. And Eddie felt something inside, something good. It felt good to be nice. He smiled, a great big smile. And from then on, he was a good friend. Any way he could be, any time he could be. And you know what? That's the best way to be a friend and make a friend and not be a bully. Well, I think we better see about some bubble gum. So reach in your pocket. If you don't have a real one, just pretend. Pull out your piece of pretend bubble gum. Unwrap it if it has a wrapper, and then pop it in your mouth, that is, and chew it up. Just like this. Do you think it's ready? Can you put your hand out? And when I count to 3, spit your gum in your hand. 1, 2, 3. And clap your other hand on top. And we've got sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, stick it on your knee. Do we leave it there? Goodness, no. On stick. Sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, stick it on your nose. Do we leave it there? On stick. Sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, stick it on your back. On stick. Sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, stick it on your cheek. On stick. Sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, stick it on your arm. On stick. Sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, stick it on your chin. On stick. Sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, stick it on mom or dad. On stick. Sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum. Time to throw it in the trash. All right, well, our next story is one you might know. Keep thinking we're going to need some mittens here, but it's still pretty warm for winter time. But let's see about a story called The Mitten. Once there was a boy named Nick, and he loved to play in the snow. Now, one winter day when it started to snow, he asked his grandmother if she would make him a new pair of mittens. And he asked for ones that would be as white as the snow. And Grandma said, oh, if I knit you mittens as white as the snow, well, you'll lose them in the snow and never find them again. I will knit you some red mittens. Oh, Grandmother, said Nick, please, please knit me white mittens. Well, I will knit you white mittens, she said. So she picked up her white wool and she began to knit. And when she finished, she gave the mittens to Nick. One for his left hand and one for his right. He put them on and he ran out into the snow. Now first he played in the snow, and then he moved his arms to make a snow angel, and well, then he threw some snowballs, and he even made a snowman. And all that running around and playing made his hands very warm, so he decided to take his new white mittens off. And he put them in his pockets. But it wasn't long before one of those mittens fell out of his pocket. And Nick didn't even know. Now nearby, there was a mole who had been digging and digging. Now a mole is not a big animal, and to a mole, a mitten might look like this. Well, the mole was digging and digging and digging, and he saw the mitten that looked cozy and warm, so he decided he'd crawl into it. I'm just going to put him on top like that. Well, it wasn't long before who should come by but a snowshoe hare. And that hare, which we might have called a rabbit, was hopping around, and he said, "Oh, can I come in? It looks cozy in there." And the mole wasn't sure at first, but he said, "Oh, it is cold outside. Why don't you come on in too?" So the mole moved in to make room for the rabbit. Well, pretty soon who should come along but a hedgehog. And the hedgehog put his foot on that mitten and said, "Is there room for me? Can I come in?" Now, mole and rabbit weren't sure there was enough room, especially for somebody covered with prickles, but they knew how cold it was outside, so they said, "Come on in." So the hedgehog climbed in too. Now, watching from up in a tree was a big old owl who swooped down to the ground. He saw the mole and the rabbit and the hedgehog, and he said, "Well, can I come in? It's cold outside." So the other said, "Yes, it is cold. Come on in." So the owl came into the mitten. Well, pretty soon along came another animal, and this one was a badger. "Oh, can I come in?" the badger said. "Is there room enough? It's so cold outside, and I'd love to get warmed up." So the animals moved to make enough room for the badger to come in. And then up ran a fox. "Oh, can I come in?" asked the fox. Now the animals weren't sure there was enough room, but it certainly was so cold outside that they said, "Okay, come along in." So the fox came in. Well, just about then, who should come tromping along but a bear. Now, he wasn't a huge bear, but he was still a pretty big bear. And he said, "Oh, can I come in?" Well, the animals didn't think someone as big as a bear should come into their mitten, but, well, then they saw the claws on that bear, and they thought about how cold it was outside, so they said, "Okay, but please be careful." So the bear crawled in too. Now, just about then, who should come scurrying up but a little tiny mouse. "Oh, can I come in?" squeaked the mouse. Well, the animals looked at each other. Well, if we were able to fit in a bear, we certainly can make room for a mouse. So the little mouse came in too and snuggled right up by the bear. Well, as she wiggled to get cozy and comfortable, the little mouse's whiskers tickled the bear's nose, and Have you ever had your nose tickle? Whether it's by a feather or by something inside, you can't help but go, ah, 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 shoo! And with that, the whole mitten flew up in the air. And when Nick came back looking for his mitten, well, he had the one that had been in his pocket. But the other one, when he found it, oh my goodness, he couldn't figure out why it was so much bigger than the other one. But you know, don't you? And that's the story called The Mitten. Well, let's finish up with one of our Sandra Boynton books. And this is the big version of the Going to Bed book. This is called Goodnight, Goodnight. It's by Sandra Boynton with her illustrations, and it's published by Little Simon. Let's see if you can see Bernard. Well, the sun has set not long ago. Bernard, did you want to come up so you can see it this time? Now everybody goes below. There's Bernard. Do you see yourself? To take a bath in one big tub with soap all over. Scrub, scrub, scrub. They hang their towels on the wall and find pajamas, big and small. And with some on top and some beneath, they brush and brush and brush their teeth. And when the moon is on the rise, they all go up to exercise. And down once more, but not so fast. They're on their way to bed at last. They climb into their feather bed, some at the foot and some at the head. And two little rabbits sing a song while everybody hums along. Can you hum one? The hippos, big hippos, will dance in the mud. The piggies will follow them in. And down in the hollow will elephants wallow in mud that comes up to their chins. The cats and the bears, the lions and dogs, the rhinos and mouse come along. That's moose. And two rabbits, that's we two, will gladly agree to sing everyone's dream in a song. The day is done. They say goodnight. And somebody turns off the light. The moon is high, the sea is deep, and they rock and rock and rock to sleep. So those are our stories. Thanks for listening, and we'll be back with some more bedtime stories next week. See ya.